The internet feels free, open, limitless. But freedom is rarely uncontrolled. Someone always shapes the path. And today, that someone is Google. This is not a story of evil geniuses. ORA sudden coup. This is a story of silence, of patience, of infrastructure. Google did not knock down doors. IT built roads, and when everyone started using them, there was no need to rule by force. In the late 1990, the internet was chaotic, slow, cluttered. Search was a mess. Then came a simple idea. Don't pay for attention. Earn it. Rank the web by trust. Page by page. Link by link. Google felt different. Clean, fast, honest. People switched without thinking. Nitrogen monoxide contracts. Nitrogen monoxide pressure. Just better results. And that was the first takeover? Not of money, not of data, but of habit. Because when you control habit, you controlled choice. Google became the front door. Every question went through it. Every curiosity passed its filter. But here's the quiet part. Google didn't just answer questions. IT learned from them. Every search was a signal. Every click, a clue. Every pause, a confession. Most companies advertise products. Google advertised intent. IT knew what you wanted before. You finished wanting IT. And while users saw a search bar, advertisers saw a goldmine. Billions poured in. Silently. Automatically. Google didn't feel big. IT felt useful. And that made IT invisible. Because the most powerful systems don't feel like systems at all. They feel like tools. By the early 2000 segundos, Google was nitrogen, monoxide, longer a website. IT was a gateway. And gateways decide what you see, what you don't. The internet was growing, but it was growing through Google. This was only the beginning. Search was just the hook. Email, maps, video, phones. Each move felt helpful. None of them felt like control. Prediction was the real breakthrough. Not search, not ads. Knowing the future is more powerful than recording the past. Google no longer waited for questions. It began anticipating them. Autocomplete finished your thoughts. Recommendations chose your videos. Maps suggested where to go next. The internet stopped reacting. It started guiding. Behind the scenes, data was no longer just stored. It was modeled, simulated, refined. This required something massive. Infrastructure. Google built data centers the size of cities, spread across continents. Private fiber optic cables, under oceans, faster than nations. The internet ran through Google's veins. And then came artificial intelligence. Not as a product, as a foundation, AI ranked results. Filtered content, flagged behavior. It learned what humans preferred and slowly nudged them toward it. This wasn't mind control. It was optimization. Small changes, repeated billions of times. The most clicked result rose. The ignored one vanished. Reality became statistical. Truth competed with engagement. And engagement usually won. Governments noticed. But too late. Google knew populations better than politicians did. Trends, fears, desires. During crises, people searched Google first. Not leaders, not institutions. Google became a reference point, a quiet authority. It never told people what to think. It showed them what others were already thinking. And that shaped consensus. Meanwhile, competitors struggled because competing with Google meant competing with its data. And no one had more. Entire companies lived or died based on search rankings. One tweak, one update. Power without fingerprints. Google didn't censor the web. It reordered it. And order decides importance. By now, Google was unavoidable. Not because it forced itself in, but because everything else was built around it. The question was no longer whether Google was powerful. By the time people noticed Google everywhere, it was already too late, because Google didn't expand outward. It expanded inward. It moved from a website into daily life. First came email. Gmail wasn't just free. It was fast, reliable, and it never seemed to forget. People handed Google their conversations, their plans, their private thoughts, not by force, by convenience. Then came maps, streets, traffic, the physical world, translated into data. Google didn't just tell you where you were going. It told you how to get there faster. And slowly, people stopped remembering directions. Why memorize the world when Google could remember it for you? Next came video. YouTube wasn't just entertainment. It was culture, education, news. Google didn't control what people said. It controlled what got seen. Algorithms replaced editors. Attention replaced intention. Then came the phone. Android wasn't sold. It was given away. Free software on billions of devices. Every pocket became a sensor. Every movement, a data point. Google now knew where you went, when you slept, what you watched, what you searched at 2 a.m. This wasn't surveillance. It felt like service. Because Google never acted like a ruler. It acted like an assistant. Helpful, polite, always available. But power doesn't need to announce itself. It only needs dependency. And dependency was everywhere. Websites depended on Google traffic. Businesses depended on Google ads. Creators depended on Google algorithms. One change in code could erase entire industries overnight. Still, most people didn't worry. Google felt neutral, mathematical, objective, but algorithms reflect priorities. And priorities shape reality. Without realizing it, Google became the editor of the internet, deciding what rises, what disappears, not by opinion, by design. And this design was only getting smarter because now Google wasn't just indexing the web, it was predicting it. And that changed everything. The real power of Google was never domination. It was normalization. Google didn't feel like a company. It felt like infrastructure. Like electricity. Like air. Something you notice only when it's gone. By this point, asking Google a question felt more natural than asking another human. Schools relied on it. Businesses were built on it. Governments depended on it. The internet no longer existed without Google's systems underneath. And that raised a dangerous illusion that Google was neutral. But neutrality is a position, and every system reflects the values of its creators. Search results shape beliefs. Maps shape movement. Recommendations shape culture. What Google prioritizes becomes what the world sees. Not because of malice, but because of incentives. Attention drives profit. Optimization drives attention. And optimization doesn't care about meaning, only metrics. Over time, creators learned to please algorithms instead of people. Headlines grew louder, content grew shorter. Truth became optional. Google never asked for control. It accepted it. Step by step, feature by feature, and when concerns finally surfaced, there was no simple fix. Because removing Google would mean removing the internet as we know it. The takeover succeeded because it never felt like one. No collapse. No kapu. Just convenience. The internet didn't lose freedom overnight. It traded it slowly. For speed, for comfort, for answers. And now, the question isn't whether Google has too much power, it's whether we could function without it. Because true control doesn't announce itself. It becomes invisible. Google didn't take over the internet. We built the internet around Google, and once something becomes essential, questioning it feels dangerous. That is how power endures. Not through force, but through reliance. The quietest takeovers are the ones we thank for helping us.